Hello, this is Eileen, the environmental educator, and today we're going to talk about the newest thing that is getting blamed for being the result of climate change, and that is air turbulence. Right here, the climate crisis leading to more turbulence during flights, says a study. This is, let me see, this is June 8th, 2023. It's June 14th right now, today. Yahoo News, severe air turbulence has increased by more than 50% in the past 40 years because, of course, climate change, and it could get even worse, according to a new study that was June 9th. Here we have Insider, severe air turbulence has increased by more than 50% in the past 40 years. This sounds like the same article here. A lot of times these are all the same article. Most of these articles have the same information with just like one little blip, that adds some different value. But Euronews, climate change has caused turbulence to double in the past 40 years. And it's hazardous. It can, the bumpy rides, it can definitely injure people, and it also injures the planes. But right here, Strange Sounds say that they blame it on the planet shifting. And, Earth's magnetic poles, even NASA will tell you, has shifted many times over millennia. We will get into that. So yeah, right here, they flip about every 300,000 years or so. So they flip about twice in the time it takes for Yellowstone to have one eruption, basically. And yeah, here's another NASA page that shows right here. But you have the poles, the North Pole and the South Pole. They actually have the geographic pole and then the magnetic pole, which are two different things, as you can see here. And this talks about how Earth's magnetic fields have reversed. So it says that Earth has settled in the last 20 million years into a pattern of a pole reversal about every 200 to 300,000 years. Yeah, although it's been more than twice that long since the last reversal. A reversal happens over hundreds or thousands of years, and it isn't exactly a clean backflip, but, they know from magnetic particles, in rocks and deep in the earth and soil all over the planet for different periods, they change. They'll face north and they'll face south, and so that's how they know that the poles have reversed, and that is science that is not contested. So some people say that could have something to do with it, but right here it says that this bumpier ride is driving up costs and increasing the risks for passengers and crew. And it said that around the world, severe turbulence in the North Atlantic is up by 55% since 1979. Turbulence makes flights bumpy and can occasionally be dangerous. Airlines will need to start thinking about how they will manage the increased turbulence, as it costs the industry $150 to $500 million annually in the U.S. alone. And, anything that costs the industry means it costs the people that use the product, because all of the costs that the industry absorbs is factored into the price that they charge the consumer. So consumers are paying for this. So a co-author of the research, Professor Paul Williams, an atmospheric scientist at the University of Reading, said that we should be investing in improved turbulence forecasting and detection systems to prevent the rough air from translating into bumpier flights in the coming decades. And right here, of course, climate change, the rapidly changing climate, is already known. I'm not sure how it's known, but it says it's known to be affecting air travel. A faster jet stream across the Atlantic is increasing travel times, and rising temperatures are reducing the weight an aircraft can carry. So, but then it says at the same time, carbon emissions from aviation are a significant driver of the climate crisis. So, yeah, I don't know. Maybe this survey is to now just tell us that, oh, can't go on flights, can't drive your car, can't have a gas stove, you can't do anything. When if anybody would just listen to and get involved with solutions, if we just lived responsibly, we could be doing everything that we do and just have an absolutely great life. But right here, it says that turbulence has increased by 55% from 79 to 2020, and moderate turbulence increased 37%, and light turbulence increased 17% in that same amount of time. And it says that the U.S. and North Atlantic had experienced the largest increases. The North Atlantic is one of the busiest flight routes out there, and other busy flight routes over Europe, the Middle East, and the South Atlantic also recorded significant increases in turbulence. And Yahoo, a trusted source, it says it's not your imagination. Turbulence is getting worse. And it says here that turbulence is considered severe when it causes loose objects to move around the cabin and causes brief periods where effective control of the aircraft is impossible. yeah, that would be a severe condition. But, if you ever talk to people that, live on airplanes and are routinely on airplanes, many of them, most of them have experienced severe fear for their life types of turbulence. So it can be very scary stuff. And it says that the National Center for Atmospheric Research, turbulence and its consequences, injuries, cabin and aircraft damage, maintenance, and delays can cost airlines up to $500 million per year. And the FAA has tracked 163 serious injuries related to turbulence from 2009 to 2022, with the vast majority involving the plane's crew. And right here, this Euronews article says that scientists have long suspected that an increase in turbulence is consistent with warming air temperatures. So, of course, the researchers also predict that clean air turbulence is set to worsen as climate change progresses. And right here, this article says every additional minute spent traveling through turbulence increases wear and tear on the aircraft, as well as the risk of injuries to passengers and flight attendants. And this Strange Sounds article ends with saying that there are a variety of other signs that a significant shift is occurring on our planet, including but not limited to the jet stream, atmospheric phenomena, geomagnetic storms, as well as at ground level with a seeming uptick in sinkholes, subsidence, landfills, and uplift, to name a few. And the driver of this shift is evidently not carbon dioxide, but something much more powerful. And they say prepare for the incoming pole shift accordingly. So, that could be, geoengineering. could really have maybe something to do with this. We would have to ask Dane Wigington about that. But, Earth's poles, I remember in the 90s in Vail, and I said something about Earth's poles flipping, and a friend was like, that's just crazy. I'm like, you're like 24. You've lived here for a couple of decades. Earth is 4.5 billion years old. There's a lot of things that go on here. And Earth's poles swapping is something that happens, about every 300,000 years. And they say that might be somewhat important if you use a compass or for certain animals like birds, fish, and sea turtles whose internal compasses use the magnetic field to navigate. And right here, under number 2, magnetic pole reversals, it says that Earth's magnetic poles have reversed 183 times in the last 83 million years, and at least several hundred times in the past 160 million years. And it says here that no one knows exactly when the next pole shift reversal may occur, but scientists know they don't happen overnight. They take place over hundreds or thousands of years. And yeah, some people are saying that there are signs of that happening about right now. So, strange sounds threw that into the mix here, that the planet shift is, to be factored into this air turbulence. But we have the propaganda outlets here, The Guardian and Yahoo, a trusted news source, I guess. And they all, of course, blame it on climate change. But the fact of the matter is, air turbulence, some stats you kind of can't argue with, and they do monitor how many hours a flight has been in severe turbulence and where it's been in turbulence, and it truly has been increasing. And like all costs, the costs of the consequences of that turbulence are definitely increasing too. And who pays that cost? Well, it's the consumers who pay the costs of all of the variables that contribute to what the company has to charge to use their product. So when you're up in the air, people, buckle in. I know if I'm in my seat during a flight, I stay buckled. I've heard of too many situations where everything was going along fine, and then all of a sudden, a huge drop in, just out of nowhere, and people's heads hit the top, and crazy things happen, and injuries do happen. So I stay buckled in. So just keep this in mind when you're traveling, and stay safe up there. Stay tuned, people.